If the last year of your life has been more disorienting, more chaotic, more confusing, there's a reason. And this conversation's for you. We're going to talk about that reason. We're going to talk about how to walk through it. I'm going to give you everything I've got. I hit a really, really hard place at the end of 2024 as a sensitive and intuitive in the world. It was very confusing. It was very chaotic. I thought it was perimenopause for a long time. I thought maybe it was some other horrific physical ailment that I just couldn't understand or hadn't been diagnosed with yet. And what I've come to know looking back 14 months ago was it was a time of great evolution for myself. It was a time of great awakening. Now I know, given the spaces that I hold and those that I have the great it's a great gift to me to witness and to work with individuals this intimately and this closely. Having watched this for the last year, I know I'm not alone in that. I know that this awakening is happening for many of us. And I also know that it can be very lonely and we can lose our way. And so this conversation is a bit of like holding the light for each other, a bit of like, you're a lighthouse, I'm a lighthouse. Maybe if I shine my light a little bit brighter, it will spark your light to shine a little bit brighter. Or maybe if you feel like your flame's gone out, I'm holding a lit torch and it's just like, grab your torch and relight your flame. That's what this conversation is about. It's for the ignition of our inner flame. It's for not just the ignition, but it's for the evolution of that sacred flame within ourselves. Who's this conversation for? Let's be clear about this. If I had to identify as a name, which I don't believe that that's even true or valid. I don't think names or titles or words or descriptions of what we do in the world ever holds who we are. But if I had to pick something, I would probably say that I am something of a priestess in the world. I'm something of a light worker in the world. I'm something of a medicine woman in the world. This is a conversation for those of us who somehow, in some way, we feel to bring light into the world. We feel to bring a higher consciousness into the world. We feel to bring a little more light. We feel to be part of the movement of human consciousness from one state to a bit of a higher state. A higher state meaning higher frequency, higher vibration, more consciousness, more light, more love. I like to call this, you're a channel for grace in whatever way. Maybe you're a channel for grace for your family. Maybe you're a channel for grace for those who you do one-on-one therapy with. Maybe you're a channel for grace in the way that you write things and share them with the world. The form doesn't matter. The title doesn't matter. What we identify with, how we do it, it doesn't matter. This is simply a conversation for us to gather, to unite, to bring the light, to bring the love. I invite you to share in the comments as you go through this video if there are things that you want to like love bomb each other with, if there are inspiring things where we can come together and just illuminate more and more and more and more and more and more for each other. Here's my feel is when we come together, that ripple effect happens bigger. When we come together and I'm maybe having a tough time, my light is maybe a little bit dim, and we come together with others who are holding light, it supports my own inner light. And that's this conversation. That's this conversation, is to both give and receive, and the giving is the receiving, right? That old mystical principle. The receiving is the giving. The giving is the receiving is the giving is the receiving. It's a flow, it's a flow, it's a flow, it's a flow, it's a flow. So I invite you to wholeheartedly receive everything, every last drop of goodness from this conversation. And then if you feel somehow called to give, because the giving is the receiving, I invite you to wholeheartedly give however you're called to give, however you're called to pass the light forward. Maybe it's in the comments, maybe it's sharing the episode, maybe it's just that you take everything and then you go facilitate your yoga class and it's just whoosh, this big beautiful bomb of love that happens in your class. All right, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to walk through 5 parts. 1, the metamorphosis. 2, the old, letting go of the old ways because they're possibly hurting us in ways that we don't even know it. 4, Lightworkers in darker times. We got to talk about that. This is a darker time. What does it mean for us? 4, finding purpose amidst the collapse. Purpose, staying on purpose, staying in alignment amidst the collapse. I really encourage you to stay for that one. Part 4, it's where all the pieces come together. And then 5, we're going to go through turning on the new, switching on the new channels, switching on the new wiring, which really supports us going forward. And stuff just gets really amazing and really glorious. First, I want to share with you a little bit about, let me feel for a second, what serves. Everything in this conversation, I want to keep bringing back to what is it that most serves this moment? What is it that most serves each person who will ever find this video? And so if I pause a little bit, it's me just kind of recalibrating and reattuning to that. So if I were to feel into what is it that most serves this moment for those who will ever watch this conversation, first, I want to say if you are still here, you are a fucking light worker. In some form or fashion, you are a light worker. You would not have made it to minute whatever we're at, 6, 7, if there wasn't something in you that was resonating with this conversation. And so let's drop the, am I a light worker? Am I called to a path of service? I don't know. So let's just drop it and say, okay, I am meant to be here. I am meant to be here. And part of this moving out of the old is moving out of questioning ourselves. Questioning our past, questioning our power, questioning the light that moves through us and how it's meant to channel into the world. So that's the first piece that I would invite us to do in this moment, is to drop that mental looping or any of those thoughts around not enoughness. Is this right for me? Am I actually a light worker, medicine woman, priestess, blah, 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 blah. And then sit in your seat. So we're dropping the old tapes, we're dropping the diminishing of our light in any way, shape, or form. And then we're going to take our place in this circle. Take your place in this conversation. Take your place in this circle. You are a light worker, and we are all sitting in this big, beautiful circle together, and you belong here. Your thread is as important as my thread is as important as the person next to you's thread. All of our threads uniquely weaving in to create this experience and then ultimately to ripple out further and to create in the world. All right. So from this place, let's get into part 1. All right. So we've taken our seat in this circle. Now, part 1 is we're going to open up this conversation, raw, radical, honest about 2025 to 2027. Raw, radical, honest about 2025 to 2027. I'm going to give you some words. Take what resonates. If things don't resonate, feel free to chuck it in the fuck bucket. Feel free to let your own gnosis illuminate. Words will never capture what's going on. Words are just kind of pointing to what's going on. So I invite that mystic in you, that wisdom keeper in you, to illuminate. To not get hooked into facts and figures and the ways that we're trying to translate this moment in time through astrology, through science, through the yugas and cycles changing, the different calendars, the different ways that we track energetic cycles. Let's not get hooked into that. That's not what this conversation is about. It's about illuminating a deeper wisdom in you, a deeper gnosis in you. There is a remembering happening in all of us. There is a waking up that's happening in all of us. Now, this remembering, sometimes it feels new old. There's like a new old feel to it. Like, wow, yes, it feels new to me, but there's also like something ancient in me stirring. This is part of this metamorphosis, this moment in time, new, old. It's switching on. There's different things that are coming to life inside of us. Now, as these different things are coming to life inside of us, old things have to fall away. It's been so beautiful and so perfect that we've gone through the year of the snake, the shedding of the skins, the shedding. And now we're moving into this year of the fire horse. This year of the fire horse, the activations, the accelerations, the movement forward, the path forward. Now, yes, there's of course going to still be more shedding of the old. That's going to be happening in a year of the fire horse. That hasn't ended. That doesn't change. There are cycles happening within cycles, happening within cycles, happening within cycles. So let's talk a little bit more about this metamorphosis, and specifically this metamorphosis for those of us, I'm going to say light workers because I don't have a better word for it. So for those of us on this, I'm actually also going to say on the cutting edge of consciousness expansion. And again, you're sitting in this conversation, you're on that cutting edge of consciousness expansion, or we wouldn't be here having this conversation still. You are. You're somehow called to serve the evolution of humanity, the consciousness expansion that's happening really rapidly. So a couple of other ways to feel into this is new, old switching on. Another way is DNA inside of ourselves is literally morphing. There are pieces of our DNA that were dormant or inactive, and they're literally switching on. There's also an entirely new electrical system within the human body that's switching on. Now, this goes beyond the chakra system. It goes beyond other systems that we've studied before. There is a new wiring that is coming online. Those of us who are channeling light, channeling love, channeling grace in the world, we are the harbingers of this new wiring. The new wiring isn't in the collective consciousness yet. It's not held steady on the planet. We are the ones who are switching it on, and we are the ones who are stabilizing it. This is partially why some of us went through some pretty challenging times or are still in some very challenging times. Right? Can you feel that? Yeah, it's like short circuits. And how things used to work, either physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, are morphing. They are completely transforming. One of the archetypes that I'm really seeing is the archetype of 2026 is Sedna. Now, Sedna is an archetypal energy that goes through a complete metamorphosis, a complete full metamorphosis from one form to another. That's the Sedna journey. Now, that's the archetypal journey we are all on. It's not the hero's journey this year. It's the Sedna journey. It's the complete metamorphosis. We are changing from water nymph to dragonfly, from caterpillar to butterfly. From Sedna, it would be human mortal to immortal goddess. Immortal goddess. She went from human breathing air to goddess under seas. Like her fingers get cut off. They become porpoises. They become the sea creatures. There is a complete metamorphosis that's happening. So that's part one. There's a lot of information on this. I've done a lot of videos on this. There's like first wave that I've done. I did another consciousness video on this 2025 to 2027, reality shifting, all kinds of things. So I don't want to dive deeper into that. I'm sure you also have your own things that you're tracking, whether that's astrology or that's different yuga cycles or different things being activated. I want to move us. Actually, here's what I want to say about this. I want to wrap up part one by saying this. What we're being asked as light workers to do in this metamorphosis, this great change, is one, we're being called to activate more gifts within ourselves, more unknown spiritual gifts, unknown light worker gifts. There's unknown wisdoms bubbling up to the surface and unknown gifts. The way that we wield the light is changing. The way that we wield consciousness is changing. The degree to which we can wield consciousness, light, love is completely changing. And that requires a complete metamorphosis physically, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. There's one other one that I wanted to add in there. I'm like, mentally, I'm trying to think of all the different layers of the body, the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the energy body, and then there's many other bodies, but it's every single level that this metamorphosis is taking place. And the interesting part is that as light workers leading the way, you think of like that geese fly in a V, right? They fly in a V. And the strongest geese are the geese at the front of the V. You know, the birds that are the strongest, they're wired for it, they're designed for it, they're created for it. They're cutting the wind for the rest of the flock to fly, right? They're making it a lot easier for the rest of the flock to fly. Those of us called to a path of service, those of us who are on this edge of consciousness, we are at the front of the V. We're copping it. We got the hardest wind. We have everything behind us is going to get the backdraft, but we're here for it. We're here for it, but it's good to know that we're at the front of the V, you know, like the wind is really in our faces. We are working hard, and we're not just working for ourselves. We're working for the whole flock, the whole V, so that they can make it through. Whew. I like when little metaphors come through. They don't always come through like that. That was a fun one. I like that. Okay, let's move into part 2, the old ways. Let's talk about some of these old ways of the light worker. Here's what I'm really watching collapse in old ways of the light worker. Any of us who can identify or who can relate, that's a better way of saying it, relate to overgiving. That's really being called out as an old way. As an old way for the path of the light worker is this overgiving, is this going until we are so exhausted that we just crash. We are really being called out, these old light worker ways, these old patterns, these old, deep, we'll call them wounded healer patterns, wounded light worker patterns of savior wound, of martyrdom, of self-sacrifice. Those are really being called out in this old ways. And some of us, the way that we're being called out on them is that they have to get so bad. The overgiving has to get so bad. The people wanting the light from you has to get so much. The burnout has to happen. The collapse. It is a collapse, right? Society is collapsing. The world is collapsing in a way. It's deconstructing. That deconstruction is happening inside of ourselves. So there's a deconstruction of these old karmic patterns, a deconstruction of old light worker patterns, a deconstruction. It's like a karmic clearing of old ways that no longer serve. They no longer serve. The light worker does not have to do it that way anymore. And you've got to feel for yourself. These will be very unique to you. You will have your own set of Chiron wounds, we could call them, medicine woman wounds, witch wounds, priestess wounds. You'll have your own set of them. And that's a really powerful place to be working, is to be doing some shadow work, some illuminating, some bringing the consciousness to what's hidden. What are these hidden patterns, these hidden old patterns, these hidden blocks, these hidden fears? Some of us are in this time, we are really moving into next level empowerment, next level light wielding. And with that, some of us, we feel next level responsibility, maybe next level fear of our light. This is a big one. We are being enlightened, more light, more juice, more love, enlightened. But with that can come in this old ways, old patterns, these blocks to be released, is that more witch wound can come up. Oh my gosh, if I open up to this much light, I'm going to be burnt. I'm going to be crucified. I'm going to be killed. I'm going to be ostracized. My family is going to be taken. My babies are going to be taken away from me. It is a very irrational, illogical, but very deep energetic within us. Now, we all have our own unique set of them. For some of us, it's if I open up to this much light that's wanting to come through, the light is actually going to kill me. And that's a fear. For some of us, it's if I open up to this much light, they're going to kill me. Humanity's going to kill me for my light. They're going to want to misuse my light. They're going to want to steal my light. They're going to want to somehow take it and twist it and manipulate my light. They're going to judge me. If I'm seen in my light, they're going to judge me. I'm going to be ostracized. I'm going to lose love. I'm going to lose acceptance if I stand in this much light or this much power. If I go through this transformation and I'm now this enlightened, this empowered, wielding this much juice, grace, light, love, these things will happen to me. So that's kind of next level that's going on for a lot of us. Like I said, I'm just going to keep using the word lightworker at this time. But here's the interesting part. This is what I want to point out, because this isn't new news. We all know this. We've been doing this. If you've been walking this path, you've been doing this repeatedly. Here's the new news. It is deeper layers that are pre-verbal, precognition, deeper layers that you cannot even bring words to. Talk therapy ain't getting you there, right? It is like deep, somatically sitting in like the marrow of our bones. It is something really, really deep. And so finding the practices or the spaces or the places that will get you into pre-verbal, precognition, because it's deeper layers. This enlightenment moment for Lightworkers, it is going into every single cell. It is going into your DNA, into your bones, into your blood. It is going into every aspect of ourselves. It is asking for a deeper embodiment of the light and the grace and the higher frequency to be deeper embodied into deeper and deeper and deeper aspects of ourselves. So think root chakra territory, think sexual organs. They all want this level of enlightenment. So there is a lot of old to be flushed out, a lot of old to be purged. I'm also seeing that this moment in time, it can be released with a lot more ease, a lot more grace in these new frequencies, in this new energy. So being in spaces where it's the new frequency, it's the new energy, it's not like the sticky, icky, gooey, old school shadow work stuff that we got to do, where we're like, whoa, it's going to take forever to move this. Oh my God, I have so much unprocessed emotion. Ah. It happens a lot quicker now. It can happen a lot quicker, but it's letting go of the old ways. So sometimes we also have these old ways, and those have to be let go of. So having this real open mind, curiosity, beginner's mind of, how do I let go of old things now? How do I let go of these old patterns? Can it be more easeful? Can it be quicker? Can it be more graceful than the ways I've done it in the past? It's almost as if we're all sitting at like a complete blank slate, of how we did all of it. It's exciting. It's also could be very disorienting, but it's wildly exciting. It's unlimited possibilities, unlimited potential. We get to do it completely differently. We are in the middle of creating it. We're in the middle of birthing it anew. We are birthing the new world. We are birthing the new ways of Lightworker. You're birthing the new ways of Lightworker. We're doing this. We're getting to do this together. But we have to allow the complete death of the old Lightworker. The death for myself going through this process. I had to allow the death of the priestess. The priestess in me had to die, had to completely die. There was a complete death, an absolute death, to die before you die. It died in me. I did not know that I was ever going to facilitate another thing again in my life. That's how dead it was in me. I did not know that I could bring light through. I went through a phase where a friend said to me, I have never felt you in this state. You feel like you have no light. I had no light. I had no light. I had to have a complete death, though. Maybe you're in that phase where the light is fading out because you need to have a complete death, because you need a complete rebirth. Maybe you're in the phase where it's switching back on, honoring exactly where you're at in that phase, Okay, let's move into part 3. We've got to talk about this. Lightworkers in darker times. Lightworkers weren't called to be lighthouses in the light. We're not. You don't build a lighthouse in a place where it's all just light and we don't have to worry about the dark. Lightworkers are called to be lightworkers and shine a light in the dark. We're called to be lighthouses in the dark. Now, in times where it is darker, and I would consider this a moment in time, it's darker. It's darker. It's darker. There is much more purging out. There's much more being purified. It's like the dark that was maybe hidden underground. We all knew a lot of it was there, right? But it's like the dark that was kind of hidden underground. It's now like the basement door has opened and the dark is rising and the dark is rising. And it's like the skies have gotten dark now. So instead of the dark just being held underground and the sky still being sunny and no, we're okay. The dark is rising and it's like clouded over the sky. Now is the moment when we need more lighthouses shining brighter light. It's why you might feel a little more pressure. It's why you might feel like your purpose has shifted. A lot of light workers, their purpose and their path, their calling is shifting or has shifted. Or you're wondering why what you were serving no longer lights you up. Why how you were bringing light into the world no longer lights you up. There's no juice left. There's no passion left. You don't feel like you're on purpose anymore. It is a darker time. Lighthouses are called upon more, but called upon possibly differently. And so it's being open to our calling shifting, our path changing, our purpose changing. Not just the way that we do it. We've been talking about letting go of the old patterns. That was part 2. It's also where we're called to do it. So it's how we're called to bring the light through. Of course, that's changing. The way that we're called to do it is changing. But where, what is the form that you're called to now? It's almost like we have to go, I don't care what I was called to do a year ago. I've had to do this repeatedly all year. All of 2025, all of 2026. It is moment to 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 moment. This conversation. I was feeling this for the last 7 days. This, have this conversation. This serves. This is the format. This is the how. This is the when. Now. I wasn't planning this 2 weeks ago, And so if we can be a little bit more in the present moment, if we can let go of the old trajectory that we thought we were walking toward or the old ways, and not cling to them. It's very easy to cling. Well, it's known. I'm really good at it. Just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I should be doing it. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. It's really what is truest, right? We have a limited amount of time in this life. I have a limited amount of life force. I have a limited amount of juice and aliveness per day before I have to sleep. I have to sleep at night, and it's really going, okay, what is it that my life force, my light, my love most wants to serve today? And being so discerning about it and being so okay that it's not logical, it's not rational, it's not what it used to be. Being so okay if it doesn't make any sense. I've done a lot of things this year as acts of service that make no sense. They're totally new. I've never done it before. But it's what I am called in this moment in time, and trusting that deep inner wisdom, in this blank slate place. It's a blank slate. You're the artist, and going, okay, I have a blank canvas and I'm a light worker. I have a blank canvas. I'm a light worker. Just because I've always done it this way doesn't mean that I'm doing it this way. Just because this is the group I've always served or the ways that I've always served or the environments I've always served doesn't mean that that's what's true now. So good to... I like calling it the power in the pause, pattern interrupt. It's so good to take a moment out of our lives and to step back. This is also the time that this is being created is just after an eclipse, and it's still during a Mercury retrograde. So if you're watching this right around when this is coming out, it's a Mercury retrograde. It's review, revise, revisit. It's such a perfect moment, even if you're watching it later. Just power of the pause, pattern interrupt. Take a step out of things, bird's eye view, look back. Give yourself the space to reset. And maybe some of the things you're currently doing are still true. But what do you need to be able to totally let go? It's hard. It's hard for some of us. Creating that. Maybe you need to go on a retreat. Maybe you need to go somewhere. Maybe you need to take a time out of life. Maybe you got to go sit in the cave for a week. Maybe you got to come to Ibiza and be on Priestess training retreat with me. Maybe you got to do something like that. Or maybe it's just you taking a week and really focusing on that. All right, let's move on. 4. This is the one I said where it kind of all comes together. I love this one. I'm going to kick off with this line. No matter what we're feeling in the collective, I mean, as sensitive, as empaths, as light workers, like we feel more, we sense more, we're switched on to more, right? We have a larger consciousness, which means we are conscious of more. We are conscious of more things that are not just in the 3D. We're multidimensional in ways. We don't just have 5 senses that we're operating from. We have like 365 senses that we're operating from. So there's much more inputs. There's much more coming through. We can also be sensing into the collective anxiety, the collective fear in different ways. We are more permeable. Light workers are more permeable. This is kind of just the way it is. And I'm not saying we don't have healthy boundaries. I'm not saying we don't have a healthy sense of self. That is essential for being a light worker. But some of what we're sensing and just being who we are, shining a light in the dark, we will feel more anxiety potentially. We will feel more fear. We might feel fine ourselves, but we may be serving groups that feel more fear, serving people who we're meant to bring the light to the anxiety, to the collapse, to the chaos, to the sorrow, to all the emotions. Here's what I want to say. All of that is just a form of life force energy. Anxiety, it is raw life force. Deep fear, it is raw life force. As light workers, and this is a capacity I'm seeing us switch on more and more and more and more and more, is every single emotion, every single collective vibe thing that we tap into, that we sense, that we are moving through our bodies, it can be alchemized to just serve your purpose. It can be alchemized into love and into light, no matter what it is. It can be the highest levels of anxiety. It can be the highest levels of fear, the highest levels of, oh my God, what am I going to do in a world of collapse? This is so fucking bad. Everything is so dark. It is so terrible. I am totally depressed. I can't even fucking get out of bed. That energy is raw life force. It is raw energy. And we have this capacity in ourselves to change that into juice that fuels the fire. That fuels our own sacred fire, that fuels the fire that lights the lighthouse, that is the light, that is the grace that we channel out into the world. I am not making this up, and this is not unique to just certain individuals. This is all of us. And if that capacity isn't switched on in you yet, figure out a way to switch that thing on. Do your practices, do whatever. Come to a Ibiza retreat. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Some of you might be called to work in a space to work on all of these things we're talking about in person, but if not, figure out your ways to switch that on. Work with that actively and consciously. Every single emotion, every single energy, it is literally just an aspect of life. It is an aspect of raw life force energy. It is chi. Whether it is chi in the form of anger, chi in the form of fear, chi in the form of joy, bliss, whatever, us too, as light workers, we have no preference. That is a powerful place to get to. You have no preference of what the raw energetics are. You have no preference. You don't care if it's joy. You don't care if it's bliss. You don't care if it's ecstasy. Let's just talk about in the collective consciousness for right now. You have no preference because it's all just a form of life. It's just a form of life expression. It's just raw energy showing up with that flavor. It's like a rainbow of flavors. Some light workers only like the yellow rainbow flavor. I only want yellow. I only like it when I'm a spiritual bypasser, and I only like it when it's love and light. I only want yellow rainbow. That's it. If it's not a yellow flavor in the moment, I can't serve. I need to go back to bed, and I need to fucking take a nap forever until the yellow comes back. This is what light workers are being asked to do. It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. We all flavors. We don't need yellow. We could do it in red. I could do it in purple. I could do it in fucking black. I don't care. It's raw life force. Now that is a direct relationship to the feminine. It really is. That's what that's pointing to. It is, what is your relationship to the feminine wisdom, to the feminine Shakti, to the feminine expression of the divine? What is your relationship to it? Right? Because the feminine is every single form, the divine, every single form, every single flavor of the rainbow, every single aspect of energetics, every single aspect. I want to correct that really quickly because I just got like pinged in the back of the head. It's not just your relationship to the feminine. It would be your relationship to the feminine when you're expressing that color through yourself, when it's that form of energy. Now it's your relationship to the divine masculine as what it is that you can stay conscious to. So conscious to, I can't even stay conscious to purple. I just need to peace out. I can't even stay conscious to red. I need to peace out. I only want yellow. So it's more like your relationship to the divine feminine is how the feminine in that flavor of rainbows is like how you would move, this is how it works, how you would move the rage in the collective through your body, and it transmutes and it alchemizes and it comes out as just straight up pure high voltage grace. That would be the feminine way, right? Is where you're literally embodying that. It's alchemizing through you and it comes out as pure frequency of grace, the highest grace that you can pour through you. But it came as just raw energetics. I'm telling you, this is one of the greatest skills of Lightworkers to develop in a collapsing world. And this, for me, I feel like we're going to have a few years where it's going to be a bit challenging. It is not going to be love and light and rainbows and fluffy things for a little while. And also just in all of life. Life is lifing. And what is our relationship to life? What is our relationship to loss versus birth? What is our relationship to the red flavor versus the purple flavor of the rainbow? I know I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent here. I'm going to share one more piece around this, and that's this masculine piece, just to wrap up this conversation. So if that's the feminine way of working with the full rainbow, all energetic expressions as just raw life force, I don't have the human judgment to them. When I bring in the divine masculine, it's like the divine masculine, instead of like the energy moving through self, being transformed and then coming out of self, it's more like I only want to be conscious to yellow. That would be the masculine in us. That would be the divine masculine in us as a light worker, serving the world, priestess. I can't look at purple. I can't bring my consciousness, this is masculine, I can't bring my consciousness to anything other than yellow. I only want to see yellow. We will have a limited capacity for where we can bring our lighthouse. We're limiting our capacity, and many of us, we are being called to widen our capacity, to be able to bring consciousness. That's the masculine. I have to be able to be present to in order to bring light to it. This is the power. So if I'm present to it, then I can bring the light, which is the feminine. So, but I have to be able to be present to it. Well, no, I don't want to look at the war in Iran. No, I don't want to look at the Epstein files. I can't look at purple. I can't look at blue. I need yellow. I only need, okay. Then that's the level of light worker you are. And if that's what's true for you, own it. Walk it. You walk yellow and you stay in yellow, and you need your new age spiritual community who's drinking fucking green juice all the time and just doing yoga and love and light. That's the level you're at. Own it. But many of us, we're having a challenging time right now because we are not just called to be serving yellow. We're not just called to be in our protective little bubble spaces where it is all love and light. We are actually now called pick up your sword and look at the purple. Pick up your sword, even if it's, I'm not calling us to be activists. I'm not an activist. I'm not an activist in any way, shape, or form. That's just not my path. Could change. I have no idea. But it's not. It's not my path. So I'm not calling us to do that. I'm not calling us to go, marching on the Capitol. I'm not calling for that. But what I am calling for is us to be really honest with ourselves about our own expansion and what we're called to do, because we are going to have a harder time in 2025 to 2027 if we fight that. We are going to have a harder time if we want to stay narrow, and we're asking. It is a call to the Lightworkers right now. You are being called. You're still here having this conversation, right? You're being called to expand, to broaden your horizons, to deepen your roots so that the wind blows you over less, to widen your capacity to where you can bring your consciousness to, and to how much you can alchemize. Like, I don't need perfect environment to bring the grace. I don't need it to be, 8 candles, 5 little bibbly bobby doos around my neck, and 4 people holding high voltage love and light for me to be able to be a light worker. I can actually bring my focus to the darkest of the dark, and I can shine a light there. That's the level of maturing that we're being asked to do. That's the level of refinement that many light workers are being asked to do in 2025 to 2027. It is also, I know I'm like on us about this, but it is also glorious. It is the thing that brings us purpose. It is the thing that brings us joy. This illuminates the confusion. It illuminates the chaos. It's also the thing that puts this bubble of protection around us. We're now not protecting ourselves from some old school ways of, well, don't look at the dark and you won't, it won't hurt you. You actually look at the dark, but you have such light emanating out of you and radiating out of you. That's your bubble of protection. Your bubble of protection is like, yes, there can be that much rage in the world and it's not going to take me out. Yes, there can be that much fear and anxiety and it's not going to wipe me out, because it's just raw life force. And the way that my system now works in that environment is that too is just light, love, and grace. That too is just raw fuel for light, love, and grace moving through me. This is available to all of us. It's available to all of us. It really, really is. It might take some training. It might take some work. It might take some focus, but life gets really good. Life gets really good. I can speak for myself. At the end of 2024, life was not good. That was not fun. That complete deconstruction, that death that I had to hit, that no light in myself. But what got reborn, what I birthed in myself, it was like literally rebirthing myself as an entirely new priestess, learning new channel, learning all of these new things about myself. I would not change this for the world. It's so easy. It's so different. There is a joy in all of it. There's an ease in all of it. And it's like, okay, the world's on fire. So what? The financial system's collapsing. Okay. It's like that, but it's not spiritual bypassing. I'm looking right at it. I'm on the headlines in the news. I'm called to do that. I'm called to bring light there. I'm called to bring light to the worst of the worst, to dig through, to get to the truth. Bang. That's my path, though. There's a piece that I'd love to share here. It's just deep reverence to your path. I want to say that wherever you're at on your path. Deep reverence. This is us sitting in a circle, light workers inspiring each other. Sometimes we got to inspire each other with a little blast of truth. A little blast of light. I know that happened for me when I was in the dark times. Blast of truth. Sabrina, this is an enlightenment period for you. You're in the great sorting. You need to sort out what in your life does not fit anymore. Everything. You got to look at every single thing in your life. Does that bring you joy? Does that bring you light? Is that true now? Every single thing. I had to go through every single thing in my life. Everything. Home, people in my life, relationships, work, every single thing. There was no part of my life that wasn't, that I didn't have to go through the great sorting with. It was a complete metamorphosis. Maybe that serves you in a way. But I do want to come back to this piece of, this is about getting us to a deeper truth and a deeper gnosis in ourselves. I'm not bringing all of this fire to just be burning your face off and be painful. I'm bringing this fire to get us to a deeper truth of what it is that you're called to, who you are called to become. There is a great becoming. This isn't just about doing. We always think it's doing. What am I here to do? It's a becoming. Who are you here to become? And what are the old layers that you need to shed? And what's the new that you need to illuminate? And what's the evolution and the expansion that you are called to do uniquely on your path? What is your becoming? What is your becoming, and what are the steps you need to take to support your great becoming? Your true path. This is where step by step, moment by moment, we just live and we feel aligned and we feel on purpose because we're just doing it. We are being the greatest, truest thing that we can be every single moment. And it's like, it just becomes your way of being. We don't work hard anymore. I always say these things when I'm in Priestess trainings is I practice so that I don't have to practice. Like I practice so I don't have to practice. So that I just am it. I'm just the living. I'm living it. I'm living, breathing my purpose. I'm living, breathing it. I just am it. I can't not act from that place. I fall off the line a lot less. It's rare and it's weird when I fall off the line. When I fall out of alignment with my callings, my path, and that is the thing that lights us up. It's the thing that brings us joy. It's the thing that this is what I came here to do. There is no greater thing than living a life of alignment, living a life of purpose, because that is the joy, that is the happiness, that is the ease, that is the grace. That is the complete fulfillment and the complete emptying out. I am doing exactly, I was built for this. This is what I came for. You are always in a state of thriving because you are always in alignment, no matter what is happening around you. So that's for finding purpose in chaos, in the collapse, finding purpose in the collapse. We have one left, one left. I do want to just pause here and just go, I want to just say, no matter where you're at or what you're walking through on this path, I see you. I feel you. I'm with you. I know those of us called to a path like this, it can be really challenging and really hard. And please know that all of these words, they come from a place of love. This fire comes from a place of, may this transmute the blocks and the limits, your upper limits. May this transmute some of the dark that has maybe been surrounding you. May this reignite your own torch, your own lighthouse, your own flame. It comes from that place. It comes from that place. It is a gift from that place. Okay. Let's go into 5. 5. Turning on the new wiring. Turning on the new channels. We've talked a lot about this, so I don't feel like I have to go into this all that much. We've talked about blank slate can be very helpful. Blank canvas can be very helpful. We've talked about, some of us, it's a releasing and it's a letting go of the old that allows room for the new to come in. The purging can also create an emptying out. A lot of times it's like an emptying out, a letting go of the old, and then it gives space and it gives room for the new to drop in. I also want to say that for some of us, it's being with others in spaces, in places where that new wiring is switching on. So that new wiring, so we get to amplify it in each other. It's like being around someone who is very, let's just make this super simple, who's very joyful. They're very ecstatic, like they just like literally, it's like genuine bliss moving through their system. Like they're just so joyful and they're so blissful, and like they're radiating it so much that the whole room is just a joy and bliss. And you walk into that room and you're kind of feeling crunchy or grouchy or whatever. And you walk into the room and then you leave 20 minutes later and you're smiling. Like it's shifted you. It's the same thing with this new wiring. Maybe even more so, because the new wiring is like the flock of geese at the front of the pack, right? The flock of geese at the front of the pack. And so they're radiating this entirely different aura. They're radiating a different chakra system. They're radiating a different wiring. And that radiating of the different wiring, like that wiring in me switched on, talks to that wiring in you. And they start communicating and they come into this like harmonic resonance. And then that wakes up in you. The new wiring, the new ways wakes up. It just wakes up. There is such a profound nature to the ways that transmissions and activations and energy works that we do not know. We cannot cognize how it works. We don't have the science behind it yet. We don't have the studies behind it yet. We don't even have the tools to measure how that works. But finding the spaces that you're uniquely called to, what is going to switch on the new wiring in you, the new capacities in you, like what I was saying, the rainbow. Right? That rainbow, and you're coming to a full spectrum. You are a full spectrum light worker in your way, your next state of being. Who are the people that hold that vibration? What are the groups? What are the retreats? What are the modalities that hold the vibration, that lights you up? You just know, like, that's for me. I remember training. I knew it was for me. It was what started all my archetypal work with all the gods and all the like Kali and Medusa and Lilith. And it's really what kicked off the deep embodiment of the divine feminine in myself. But it was a training back in the day. I knew I needed to do it. Made zero sense to me. I had no money. I didn't even have a visa to be in the country to do that training. I knew it was for me. Again, no logical sense, but I knew that holds the vibration. That is a key for me. Whatever those things are for us, we've got to do it. I figured out how to do a visa. I figured out, even though I was $20,000 in debt, I figured out the money to pay for that. I figured it out and I did it. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't do it. It was one of the top 3 things that I ever did for my path. We know. I'm holding myself to, I know when something's for me. I know it. And I'm now at a place in my life, having walked this path and the life experiences that I've had at this point, I know to say yes when I'm called to something. Get the hit, take the action. Get the hit, take the action. Get the breadcrumb on your breadcrumb trail, follow it, right? So whatever those things are, give them to yourself. Support that light worker in you. Support the new switching on. Support the spaces that help you to let go of the old and switch on the new. Whatever those spaces are. For some of you, it might be Ibiza Priestess Training Retreat. That's happening this year in April, 2026, middle of April, kind of toward the end of April. There's a couple spots left. You'll find details for that below. Whatever that path is, may we all follow that path for ourselves. May we all follow that path for ourselves. May we all find the groups that we're meant to be in, the other light workers that light our torch. May this conversation have lit your torch in some way or inspired something or alchemized something. And maybe it's even like knocked you out in a little bit of a way, but it was meant to kind of be a bit of a truth bomb. May it have served your highest good. Because that's all that this conversation was for. Serving your highest good, and that's your soul self. Not your little self, not your ego self, your soul self, your high spirit self. May this have been a conversation that served your high soul self, spirit self. I'll end on this is to just kind of come full circle. The giving, the receiving, the receiving, the giving, the giving, the receiving, the receiving, the giving. May we all have received the gifts that we were meant to the deepest degrees that we were meant to. And then may we give in the exact ways that we're meant to. May we shine the light forward, however that is. I know I invited us to the comments below. Maybe there's a gift you want to give in the comments below, like shine some light. Let's light each other's torches. We get to be a community here in Rewilding. We get to be a community gathering around this conversation. We just gather around a sacred fire. And if there's something that you want to share, please do. Please do. Don't hold it back. Share the light, spread the love. Like, let's let this be a forest fire of light that just rips into the world and supports light workers like crazy. It's been an absolute honor to be here with you and an absolute honor to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much.